And welcome back to another episode of Key Factors Podcast, Real Estate AF, where the AF stands for And Finance. And I'm your host, Mark Jones. And today we're going to be talking about what's going on in today's market and a couple of things that maybe you can do in the personal development side of things that'll keep you going through a market where everybody says it's down. But we've got some folks that think otherwise. So I want to introduce my guests today, and they've both been on the show before. And they're both pretty badass people. So without further ado, let me introduce my guests. I first got Sandra Rangel. Sandra, how you doing?
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Right. And then I've got JJ Garina. What's going on, JJ?
How you doing, brother?
Doing very well. So guys, we want to first give you just a quick moment to tell the folks who you are, just in case they are not wanting or willing to go back to previous episodes. But yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been in real estate for 18 years now, maybe 19 by the end of the year. And it's depending on the market is, right?
Right.
Real estate, residential, no commercial, like JJ one day. But loving what I'm doing, keep going. Just that's it.
That is not your bio.
I think
Sandra Rangel, Sandra Rangel is a monster real estate agent. She's with Real. She was with KW back in the day with me. You know what? She was the first agent that opened up all of when everyone was uptown near San Antonio College, downtown. Sandra had all the listings down there with Terramark. She's the one that brought that urban living to San Antonio, if she wants to admit it or not.
Yeah.
We were all like, what is Sandra doing listing all this crazy stuff?
Yeah.
Like who's going to buy that? And Sandra had a vision. And I'm being serious.
And
I talked about this all the time.
One of the top realtors, Hispanic realtors in San Antonio.
Yeah, still one of the top NAREP realtors.
Right.
What you're ranked in NAREP?
It was 3 times that I ranked number 1.
3 times the number 1. See, I do real estate. I do real estate 18 years.
No way.
But what I know about Sandra, what I really talk about is when we were all like, what is this girl doing? Mm-hmm. She brought, in my opinion, she brought Southtown to light. She brought Uptown to life. And she was the first one in the downtown area because Bobby, my business partner, was like, I love all of her listings. And I'm like, dude, I don't even want to park my car down there.
Right.
But Sandra was just with different builders and
killing
doing infield stuff. So.
Doing what it took.
Without Sandra, there's no Uptown, no Southtown. I'm just going to say
Ooh, I like that. So JJ, who are you, dude?
I'm her assistant.
It makes perfect sense now. Makes perfect sense now.
21 years in August. This is my Duncan year.
Congrats.
Thank you. Do commercial real estate, just only no residential. Well, I say that, but my business partner, I think he's retiring on me. He's on a plane every 3 weeks, so I do jump in.
Okay.
Once a month when he's out of town, but just commercial primarily with EXP, which is real.
And I've been seeing a couple of pictures here and there on social with some residential closings. Are those his closings?
That's when he's out of town.
In? Okay.
That's what I'm telling you. He's out of town. I say I'm not in residential, but he literally is on a plane every 3 weeks, so I'm always back in it. So yeah, commercial primarily with EXP. I'm certified coach with Success Magazine, DISC, the 6 motivating factors, EQ, all that kind of stuff. So I've been coaching for probably about 13 years now.
Man, I didn't know that you were well versed in the EQ. It makes
certified.
Perfect sense now, having all the discussions that we've had and the way that they go. But yeah, eventually I want to have a conversation with you about that because it's one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that realtors, lenders, salespeople don't have that they can acquire is EQ.
Emotional equivalency.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can work on it. I know I'm when I looked at my results and it says that I'm not in tune with my emotions, and I'm like, nah, I am. But looking back, I really am not, because what I'll do is someone will say something to me, or especially someone that's close, like my mom or my girlfriend, and then I'll be like, I want to kill them, but it comes later.
Right.
Instead of being immediate. And then, they're like, you good? I'm like, I'm good. And then later I'm like, oh, I'm not good.
I wasn't good.
In fact, I'm way bad. So I had to learn how to wait till I react, because if not, the volcano will erupt later.
That's right. We talked about that a lot on the last discussion. So let's get into our discussion today. And we've got quite a few topics to cover. And I want to start with today's market insight from those that are actually in the field,
Sure.
shaking and moving, doing what it takes to get closings, get
Right.
people into homes, get people into buildings, into new leases. And as we know, real estate is always about location. In addition, real estate is very local. We can't talk about the California market and compare it to the Senate or Vegas market or any of the other markets. And most of our listeners are tuning in because they're in or around San Antonio. What are you guys seeing out there? What neighborhoods are selling more frequently than others? What price point is kind of hitting the mark with this whole affordability issue? And with me, I don't necessarily fully agree that it's an affordability issue versus a mindset issue of the actual buyers. But yeah, somebody go ahead and dive in. What are you seeing out there, Sandra?
So when you're talking about, which areas, I think it's more the buyers are looking for affordability, even though they want to be, inside 1604 for the convenience of the commute. A lot of the affordability is being pushed out 1604, either it's west, northwest. And what are we seeing more? These builders that are having affordable, but so close together, not the mature neighborhoods that they're really wanting, but having to settle because, the payments.
Right.
And then also the struggle, obviously, pre-existing interest rates.
That's right.
And new construction interest rates. That carrot that they're dangling, get a lower interest rate. But you still have the clients that are savvy and saying, well, if I buy now pre-existing, when rates come down, I can refinance.
Correct.
If I buy right now with new construction, if the rate comes down, I'm not going to be able to refinance. So I'm like locked on that payment.
Right.
So making those decisions and helping them navigate through those decisions. So a lot of the times they're being pushed outside 1604 for the payment affordability.
It makes perfect sense. And you brought up the idea of builder versus pre-owned.
I want to get into that.
And the idea of the folks that are taking these lower rates but higher sales prices, let's say, will they have the opportunity to refinance? Sure, they'll have the opportunity, but I don't believe that it is going to make sense. Number one, you're already below what the rates are going to be at when they drop. Number two, when you go to refinance, it still has to make appraised value again.
Correct.
And that's one thing that I'm seeing that as we progress, prices are coming down, but those are continuing to rise. It's odd.
Well, I want to get into the market, but just starting between new home and pre-existing.
Yeah.
So if you remember back in the day, if someone got a new home, I would tell them, hey, I hope you like it here because it's going to take you 7 years to break even. Like you can't call me in 6 years, 5 years, 4 years to sell because you're going to come in with cash. These newer agents, that's all they do is they rely on new home sales agent, like reps to help them close. They rely on new home blocks of interest rates to be bought down for their clients. And then I tell, because, I have 144 agents in my organization. I tell them, look, be careful, because if you want repeat business, which is where me and Sandra have hung our hat over
Absolutely.
2 decades, then you have to have repeat business. And
right.
repeat business is when you put someone in a situation where they will have enough equity to, refinance, like you said, or to move in the next 3 to 5 or 7 years. The average in the U.S., I think, is 6.5 years someone moves. But in San Antonio, it's lower because of military. But the agents aren't looking at that. They're just like putting stuff online like, hey, this is only $1,500 a month. This is only $1,600 a month. Well, in that case, then you might as well rent in a lot of ways. And I hate to say that, but it's true, because if you are not going to live way out off 211 and 90 and be willing to do that for 7 years, then you should really look at the retail market. Because back to Zig Ziglar, going and coaching again.
Sure.
Is it price or is it cost? Like, what is that going to cost you in time? What is that going to cost you in commute? What is that going to cost you in everything, right? Like, so is it right now? I think the dichotomy of the real estate market is it is new homes versus, I'm a nerd. It's like 42% new homes versus retail, which is crazy. It's never been that high. And should I go new home because it's a lower interest rate? And interest rates is theoretical. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Unless it's your hospice house, my mom's in her hospice house. I tell her, she laughs, but unless it's your hospice home, you're gonna move.
And what JJ means for that, just to break it down a little bit more, just in
You're gonna
case
die
you
in
didn't
your
get the
home.
reference. Yes,
You're
that
gonna
is the
die
last
in
home
your
that
home.
you are purchasing. And for most out there, it's not the last home that you're purchasing.
They have to look at it as a 5 to 7 year decision.
Investment.
It's a long term. I mean, that's longer than almost every single relationship I've had. Yeah, exactly. So like it's a serious decision. But what I think what's happening, to be honest with you, is this is what's happening. People work at USA, right? And then they'll have someone that has a listing, like Sandra will have a listing, and they're not looking at absorption rate.
Right.
They're looking at market analysis. The market analysis is, it is what it is. But absorption rate has been here since, I think, in 1972. The economy looks at the real estate market in three ways. Is it a seller's market, an even market, or a buyer's market? A seller's market is 0 to 3 months of inventory. That means if I dropped a little bit of this overpriced coffee and I could just wipe it up with a cocktail napkin, that's a small absorption.
Right.
4 to 6 months but like if I dumped it all and we had to get a beach towel, that's high absorption.
Right.
And it's figured out by how many times, I have videos on this, but how many times so a house is sold in a neighborhood in the last 12 months and you divide it by the current inventory. Now, if it's 0 to 3 months, there are neighborhoods like that. Like my business partner put up a house in the northeast side, and he sold it in 4 days with multiple offers. Now, we also have a house that's east of downtown. This is her fault because she made that popular, but in Diggy Heights, right? And so in Dignity, there's a 17-month inventory. 17 months is a past 12 months, and so that goes into an investor market, right?
Correct.
So imagine if someone goes into, two employees are at USA and they're like, damn, JG sold my house in four days. He's awesome. And they're like, well, Sandra has had my house in Dignity Hill for 13 months and we don't have any showings. They think she's terrible.
Correct.
But it's not her and it's not me.
It's location.
Well, yes, but it's the absorption rate of each individual area. And more importantly, what's not happening is the seller is not being told that. And so their expectation is not hitting reality, and so they're disappointed, right? So that's what the market is doing right now. It's disappointing sellers.
And you had discussed this on a previous podcast a while back when rates just so happened to come up. We had a podcast, and we were talking about the idea of you're not necessarily selling the price of the home, you're selling the payment. And in those case scenarios, even dropping the payment down in those locations may not affect the payment a great deal.
Right. Like when we sit with sellers, and my business partner was out of town for Europe for like 11 days. So I was talking to a seller and they're like, they got offended. They got a lower offer than they were asking for closing costs and everything. And I said, don't take offense. And I showed her on a mortgage calculator, like, this person's paying $3,200 a month for your home. And you can see her like, oh, wow. Say like, yeah, like I love your home and I know you love your home, but
would you pay $3,200 for it?
Yeah, because when you got it, it was for like 7 cranberries or whatever, whatever it was. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so yeah, showing them that like, hey, you have to be empathetic to the other side, but what's really happening, and if it was only me and Sandra, and people like me and Sandra on the market, it'd be a hot market. But what's happening is there's newer agents that were born in the
2020,
the hot market.
Absolutely, yep.
Anyone with a super key could open up a house and make money. There was no skills. No one worked on there's 17 closing tactics. No one's worked on that. They don't know if they're visual or auditory digital or kinesthetic. They don't know how they speak in sub languages. They're not working on their game. And so what's happening is buyers are dictating what agents should do, and sellers are dictating where prices should be at. And we're facilitators of that. We have to set expectation for both sides. We have to use information that's available, like in showing time and absorption rate and CMAs, to like let both sides know, like, look, I know you want $10,000 off of this, but if you look at the absorption rate, it ain't gonna happen.
Right.
Or on the other side, say, hey, you're in Dignity Hill. There's 17 months of inventory. If you can't wait 17 months, then we got to drop.
Right.
And and those conversations aren't happening, and that's where the market is.
I totally agree.
There's agents that can't set expectation for their clients, and it's not their fault. Here's another thing too, that it's not their fault. I'll come across an agent and I'll have to close both sides and say like, dude, you should tell your client this.
Now, I'm going to stop you there. Do you really think it's not their fault? And hear me out on this. Because after doing something over and over, getting the same results, it must not be me, right? I mean, you've got a coaching program that teaches me these things. Those agents have so much available out there to learn, to be able to catch themselves up on what you're discussing right now. And whether let's say they are practicing and getting into coaching and fine tuning their craft and actually being a student to the game, just not actually applying it.
Well, I want to ask Sandra how she got good, because she's incredible. But how I got good is that I used to like drive my coach around. Seriously. He would say, hey, I'm showing houses Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I would drive him.
Yeah.
Like, and he would be, just banging out calls, and I'm listening to him banging out calls. And
osmosis, just absorbing.
And then he'd be like, what'd you learn from that phone call? I'm like, well, I learned that you're a high D. Like, you punked that other person pretty hard. But it taught me a lot. It taught me how to talk to clients, how to close in person, how to set expectation. I think there's now like so much information online. Like, this podcast is amazing, and there's so many things online that I think a new agent's like, oh, I'm just gonna figure it out on my. I'm gonna figure it out on my own. I'm gonna watch a bunch of like pretenders, not you by the way, but like pretenders that are on TikTok and Instagram, and they're gonna have like these really shallow 101 versions of how to be a real estate agent, and then they think they can just apply it, or they don't understand that you need to go and be under her. You need to go be her agent for 6 years, and that's mentorship. Is like, I want to be like Sandra, so I'm gonna do what Sandra does, because if I do what Sandra does, then I'm gonna have her business. The be do have, right? I'm gonna be like Sandra, right? I want to be like Sandra so I can do what she does, and so I can have her business. That's not happening anymore.
Right. It's
like, I'm gonna internet it out, gang, and let's see what happens, and that ain't working. But it's not their fault, because our old school ways of learning is out there. It's and we're talking best from cloud-based companies too that don't have offices, right?
That's true.
So we also don't have offices to listen in. And those are the hot chicks right now, EXP and Real. And so there you go. How do you create that culture of learning when we're all siloed and in our own pajamas or chones or whatever you want to call it, watching Ellen in between calls is they don't see that. I mean, Heritage still has it. I love Heritage and I love KW in general, but those I want to talk a little bit about how Compass has now bought most of the real estate industry. You can't beat them, buy them. And so what's going to happen to these legacy markets, and it's going to be a big change.
I totally agree. That's going to affect the market. Before we get into that, I want to hear what Sandra has.
I want to know how she got good.
Absolutely. What did you do to get good?
Well, I just think it's also, like you said,
pull that mic closer to you.
Old school.
There she is.
Doing what you need to do. But me coming into real estate, it was more coming in to serve. That was very important to me. Customer service was like priority.
Right.
And then knowing that I'm not going to put my client in a bad position. The feeling of hurting their finances or anything. So making sure that I'm taking care of them like their family, and
funny word called fiduciary.
Yeah. But it's more of like, I want them to be able to come back, and I want them to be able to refer me because they had such an amazing experience. And I basically really took great care of their interests versus mine. And it wasn't about the paycheck. Hey, this is not the house for you. Let's move on. Let's continue. And not being afraid of doing that, because then they sense that, oh, wow, Sandra didn't just have me sign this and move forward so she can get paid.
Right.
Many times I will tell my client, I don't think this is the house for us. And I think a lot of that is, I always tell people, prepare yourself for, the winter, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're always keeping busy and having things in your plate, then when the situation comes, it's like, oh, shoot, I need that closing. I'm going to push my client like, yeah, it's a good deal because I need that check. So being comfortable and said where, you know what, you're not depending on that one transaction to skew how you're directing your client to go.
Yeah.
And then also, like you were talking about, JJ, is that you really didn't have equity in your home when you sold, for 5 years. And you would always hear clients, you're going to buy your home, you're not going to have equity into it until after 5 years.
Minimum.
Yes. And then after COVID, that was different.
Yeah.
But it's like knowing that commitment, you're going to stay here, you're committed to 5 years or more in your home. And even when I bought my first home, I was told, oh, you'll probably stay just 5 years. And I'm thinking, it's not a car. Why would I want to keep trading it in?
Right.
And then, yes, 5 years,
Boom.
life changes. I'm moving. And, yes, I did have a little bit of equity, but not to say humongous, but I bought because I could afford it. The rate was fine for me.
Right.
But it's just different things like that, how you look at things back then and how you look at things now.
And you personally, as you both have been in the business for many years, as you went through different markets, because we've seen different markets, not one similar to this. This one's a little different.
Homie, this is my fourth recession. My dad was in real estate too. I remember in 1987, it was tough, yo. Like, bankruptcy's tough, right? And then, I remember 2001. I was in 08. That was totally my fault. I'm so sorry. I was if you could fog a mirror, I was putting you in a home.
Yeah. If you're still sending out pre-approval letters and praying your realtor send you the next lead, you're already behind.
Top producers are winning because they're giving their agents more than just rate sheets and donuts. They're giving them Loanbot. With Loanbot, you can offer realtors a white-labeled, co-branded digital mortgage tool that they send straight to their buyers. It's like giving them a mini loan officer in their pocket. Available 24/7, fully loaded, and branded with your name and their trust. Buyers can self-diagnose, compare loan programs, check real numbers, search properties, and explore down payment assistance without blowing you up at 10 p.m. And the best part? You see everything, every scenario, every lead, every milestone. You're looped in the whole way. Loanbot isn't a widget. It's the referral machine you've been waiting for. Here's the deal. Your realtors can get it from us directly for $9.99 a month. But it'd be in your best interest if they got it from you. Either way, they're going to get it. White labeled, co-branded, transparent, and more.
Sign up for your demo with our team of innovators.
And then this is another one. This is the weird one, though. If we are in recession, or I think we are, but if we are in one or not, this is a weird one because it's a fake inflation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's meaning what we're just talking about when builders are able to buy blocks of money and then compete against us. That's never happened before.
Right.
And I say us because we're the retail market, but we're also the new home market. Mm-hmm. And San Antonio in general used to be the turtle that won the race. Like, we wouldn't be like Austin. Austin would go up and come down. I've seen them come
So
up and
true.
come down.
That is so true.
We were always the turtle that was like, Military Town USA. We have VA bars all day long. Like we have
regardless of the market.
no
you're
matter,
right. Yep.
no matter. So this is a fake inflation where builders are. I hope these builders don't get mad at me, but where builders are, they're competing amongst themselves. There's NASDAQ traded companies that are competing amongst themselves for the business of our clients, and where the land is available is super far. So they are creating like these sub-markets that we've never seen before. Like Alamo Ranch should be its own city, going all the way to 211. And I want to be the mayor. Just kidding. But like it should be its own city, have its own fire department, because everything is built that way. We're in Bernie right now as we speak. That's a totally different submarket. So this is a different one because it's being propped up by fake low interest rates.
Now, question for you both. And this is the last thing I'll say about the builder stuff. But do you believe that the builders are doing something that may or may not be a bit deceptive to continue to satisfy their stakeholders?
They're not deceptive. I mean, they're in a lot of ways they're servicing the general public
need.
because they are buying blocks of money, right? And they're allowing it to go down or they're allowing to hold it in different. Oh, that's me. No, not me. Not me. But so they're servicing a lot of the need. I feel like if we didn't have them doing what they're doing, then what would our sales be at that point, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like it would feel a lot more like 08, you know, than if they weren't doing what they're doing. So I don't think they're doing anything deceptive. I feel like they are providing a need for a group of people here. The only problem that is in that situation is I don't know if those group of people understand that they got to be there for 7 to 9 years.
Right.
And, we've seen all these subject to things happening and all that. Like they will be the best way that I was told as a kid of how a market is like, imagine your sprinkler head breaking or busting. There'd be water all, like it's in the middle of your yard. The water's all over your yard and it goes out to the outskirts. The outskirts are the outskirts of the city. That's where, water is going to get a lot where it usually doesn't. Outskirts is also like second home markets like Rockport and, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Where you're really feeling right now is the lakes, right?
Yeah.
Like Canyon Lake.
Yeah.
So when people have a lot of money, there's a lot of water, there's a lot of money, cheap money, then Canyon Lake started going up. Remember we seen like
Oh, absolutely.
$500,000 in Canyon Lake? I was like, what the hell?
Yep.
Now, when you fix that sprinkler head, which we just did, it's so like
Soaks it back in.
well, it gets all dry. So the outer areas of town, second home markets are going to be the canaries in the coal mine. So I always talk to my Rockport agents and I'm like, how y'all doing? And they're like, Canyon Lake agents, they're like Heather Knox, she's a monster out there. She's like, And that's a canary in the coal mine that we're adjusting, we're fixing the sprinkler system.
Right.
And it should just be like Alamo Heights, Bernie. Like it should just be
Constant.
like, that's what's going to be constant no matter what. If like right now, Bernie is kind of recession proof. Alamo Heights is recession proof.
Yeah.
There are neighborhoods that are recession proof. They're not going to eat it.
Right.
And they're going to still continue to go up. The other ones is where you should be afraid of. And that's where the builders are building.
Yeah. Well, let's switch the gears real quick. And you had mentioned something that I want to bring up. Wasn't a topic here, but a question that I have for you guys. No. The compass thing we'll get to.
Oh, okay.
But it's even simpler than that. TikTok. I want to get you guys' thoughts on what you believe TikTok has done for our market, our industry, the way that the newer agents get their business. And I want Sandra, you to start simply because after the first podcast we did together,
She's been on video. She's a video
you
queen.
went nuts on video and it is awesome.
It is awesome.
But I will tell you, you are one of the few from the, let's call it, seasoned veterans that
One of the old ones.
That's what he said. That's pretty much what he said.
that are jumping on there, getting on camera and being consistent with it, as opposed to the newer agents, newer lenders. They don't know as much as we do. They don't have as much experience. So nor do they have the contacts or the book of business, the reputation, all of these words that describe somebody that it's a seasoned expert. So what do? They jump on social media. They jump on TikTok. They make a clever, funny video that really has something to do with real estate, but not really. And all of a sudden they have customers from a demographic that believes, oh, if they're on there, they must be an expert or they must know what they're doing. What are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, I do see a lot of that, but coming from someone seasoned as myself, I know that I have to keep up with the Joneses in a sense.
Yeah.
But the thing is
That mic right here.
I am not comfortable,
There you are.
as you know, with video, but I have to put myself in uncomfortable situations. And if I'm not going to do it myself, then I need to hire professionals to help me with it. And so it's more of like continuing, like coaching. You have to have multiple, pillars of, income. So being the seasoned agent with my sphere and having that clientele from there, sometimes it's a little slow. So what am I going to do? Just continue that and then, stay slow? No, I'm a workaholic. So I'm
Not
gonna
you.
keep
No,
going
not
and looking.
Sandra.
What else do I need to do to get more business? But still service my sphere. So then that's why I see everyone's doing the videos. I know I need to do the videos. So I started doing the videos, started with home tours, and that was great. But I was like, what else? I'm not getting followers for just the home tours. Not everybody was wanting to buy a home.
Right.
So how am I going to attract more eyes? So I started doing hotspots. So I started, basically giving back to the community, spotlighting local places, businesses. So I looked at it as I'm helping them, but it's also helping me because then people are following me because they want date night.
Yeah.
What do I do for next date night? Oh, you know what? Let's see what Sandra had posted. And also restaurant, new places coming up, elsewhere too is coming up. That one did really well. Everybody's asking me, how do I get a job there? I'm like, I don't work for them, but I'm just helping promote, because
Right.
I think I'm excited for it too. So sharing things like that is really helping open up more, eyes, more communications, more DMs. So that's really great. But I'm also keeping my image of what I want is that the professional, and still showing that I'm fun, I'm laid back. Yes, I'm a workaholic. I look serious and mean sometimes,
Right.
but I'm very approachable.
Yeah.
So I know that was very important for me because people would think that I was not approachable. And if it's like, you guys, me, you're like, oh no, Sandra's really cool. But the people that don't know me. So I felt that I had to share that side of me as well, even if I was uncomfortable doing that. And so it's really been really great. I'm enjoying it. I have video day on Wednesday, 10 videos in one day. So I have everything coming for the next couple of weeks. But it's doing that. And I know that there's a lot of people doing the fun videos.
Yeah.
And everybody has their tribe. Everybody has what's going to work for them. And I get it, and I'm not here to knock anyone's, process. But I'm going to continue to do what works for me. And I think if we all did that, then we would still be, successful at the route we're going.
I appreciate that response, but I'm going to press you a little bit. And the reason being is, let's say, and I think this happens quite often, you being the experienced agent that you are now finding yourself on the other end of a deal that the agent is less experienced, and they got their transaction, whether it's on the buy side or the sell side, from a TikTok video. What are your thoughts on that? I know that you're the type to help both sides, regardless, to get the deal done, just like JJ would, just like I would. But as a whole, has TikTok, the influence of videos, helped, hurt, or indifferent in our business?
I know a lot of people, because I feel like it's taking away from the serious realtors.
Okay.
And I know sometimes when this younger generation comes out, silly videos, all that. But when you actually make the time to talk to them, some of those young ones are pretty bright. I think it's not knowing them or getting to know them, then people are quick to judge. And there's some really good ones that I've met and seen their videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's pretty smart,
Yeah.
So, which I'm excited about that. I don't feel like it takes from my business.
Okay.
Because I'm secure in what I've
sure.
created. And if I do have a newer agent on the other side, either, they got their business, TikTok, whatever, I like to know when they are fairly new, because then it allows me to guide them and they're open to it. If they're not open to it, then that's different. And it's
Totally
just
agree.
like, but when they're open to it, then guiding them, and if they're willing to accept my guidance, then it's a win-win. I started, right?
Right.
And I was new once. So
Sure.
I'm not going to be upset on how they got their business. Obviously, they're doing great to be seen.
Yeah.
And now that they got the business, hopefully they have the mentorship to help them figure out what to do with that business. Making sure that the bigger picture is, making sure that we take care of the client.
Solid response. JJ, I want to get your response because at the beginning of this discussion, you had mentioned that what kind of market are we in? We're in a market to where it's not necessarily buyer's market, seller's market, this, that. It's an agent lack of education, lack of training, lack of being able to tell the truth and give their customer what they need to hear versus what they want to hear.
I'm gonna go into coaching mode here a little
Let's
bit.
go.
Okay, so have you ever heard the analogy between marketing and the circus?
I have not. I don't think so.
Okay, let's say we own a circus. We're gonna get a big billboard here on I-10, and we're gonna say, "Come to the circus. It's October 4th, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on, come all." That's an advertisement. Agreed?
Yes, my ADD was going nuts for a second. You said the circus. I'm like, right here, right now.
Yeah, exactly. Start juggling. So now you take that advertisement or advertisement, you put it on to our elephant, and we slap the elephant's butt, and an elephant goes into downtown Bernie, and everyone goes, "Oh my God," and they take videos of it. That's a promotion.
Yeah,
You agree?
absolutely.
Now, let's say on the way to downtown Bernie, the elephant stomps all over the mayor's flower bed, and KSAT 12 picks it up. Well, that is publicity.
Yeah,
You agree?
I do.
Okay, let's say we go down there, you and I, when we go to the mayor burning, we go, oh, we're so sorry, we didn't mean for our, our elephant to stomp all over your flower bed, and he or she laughs about it. Well, that's public relations.
Yes.
And of course, if they show up on Saturday to our circus, and me and you are there, and say, hey, we have the dopest rides, the funnest time, and you got to buy a lot of tickets because we have the best food, and we sell a lot of tickets. That's sales.
Yes.
Marketing is if we actually planned it all out from the beginning. All of that was
Very
planned out.
true. Yeah.
That being said, I have I feel like we're in a conundrum because when I'm coaching agents and I'm like, well, I really keep them on KPIs, key performance indicators. There's lags and leads. So I go, what are you trying to accomplish with your videos? What's the lag? And they're always like, well, I want a lot of, customers like Sandra. I go, okay. Then what kind of videos are you doing? Well, I'm doing these real jackass videos that, and because this other person has them and they have a lot of followers, I go, well, how much business does that person have? Because if it's followers and likes,
Correct.
that is not necessarily
Business.
the customers.
That's right.
So when I'm coaching someone, I'm like, I know that person has a lot of like whatever thousands of, if they're true followers.
Sure.
But they have, but look at their business. Just look at their business. Because I want Sandra's business. I don't, like if I,
That's right.
Like if you want to pick Sandra's business again, it could go back to be do have. Then I want to be like her. I have to do what she does and have what she has.
Yeah.
She doesn't have jackass videos. She doesn't cuss in her videos. She doesn't downgrade our in my opinion, our industry at all.
Profession, yeah.
Like I'm looking to see what Sandra's doing because we all want to be like Sandra. So I think it comes down to there's a group of agents that are like following. They're looking for followers and likes.
Yeah.
Which doesn't equate to business. But now I got to cut myself off of there and not be, have a limited belief. I also believe that branding, okay, is your reputation times your reach.
Yes.
That's what branding is. It's multiplication. It's your reputation times your reach. So then I'm like, how do I tell an agent not to get a broader reach?
Good point.
So there is I'm in a conundrum. I've been on the TV show for 7 years. The American Dream TV.
Yep.
I just told Sandra, I haven't told anyone, but I'll say now, we're doing a spinoff. It's just me.
Okay.
It's my own show, right? It's not even branded with American Dream. It's called Deep in the Heart of It.
Okay.
Like Deep in the Heart of Texas. And we get like 42,000 views per segment. So I'm not going to coach someone, say, hey, don't go get reach. Because see, me and Sandra have a reputation already. So all we're doing is we're just branding to our reach. But it's hard for me to have a new agent that, to say like, oh, don't do that. Because maybe they're just building that reach
And then
and then coming back to the reputation. So I'm in a conundrum of how to coach on that because when I see new agents not doing the things that they need to do to get actual business and they're spending all their time trying to be viral, then I'm like, you're not gonna make it. But then who am I to tell them not to go viral? Because if they have that reach and then we've seen that. We've seen someone like, who the hell is that? And then all of a sudden they have a reach and then they build in a reputation for that reach and then now they're players.
Yes.
So as a coach, I'm for and against it. It depends on how
I have to side with both of y'all. Yeah, I have to side with both of y'all because in on my side, on the lending side, nobody wants to talk about mortgage. Nobody wants to talk about lending. It's just
it's boring.
It's boring. It really is. It's the non-sexy part of real estate, but very necessary. So I take an approach that I'm going to give them education, time to make them laugh. Education, that concept.
Totally.
And thinking about it now, you're right. It does grow the audience, and then coming back with the education and the real experience and the real valuable information that they can actually use for whatever to purchase, to refinance, whatever the case may be. It fine tunes that audience of who's actually viewing. So that's a good point. Thank you both for that. So last topic on this, what's going on in the market. And I want to throw this stuff up. JC, if you can throw this on the screen. So we can just look at some stats. Zillow, based on San Antonio value trends, the average home value is at $258,873, which is down 3.7% year over year. And I bet if we went 2 years back, 3 years back, 4 years back, it's down quite a bit. And then we've got realtor.com, median listing home price as of August 2025 is at $295. It's with a slight decline year over year. And then look at that. Kim Howell's on here. Kim Howell, San Antonio real estate market agent, reports that single family home prices rose by 5% year over year, while inventory increased 15%, and sales fell 7%. That's an odd little equation there. You've got home prices rose, inventory also increased, but the number of sales went down. Let you guys dissect that or just think about that for a moment.
What that means to me is that prices are fixed we're still affordable. San Antonio is still affordable. It's not even debatable, I don't think,
right,
in the national level. But there's, the people that were just throwing crap against the wall in 2017, 18, 19, and 20, that it's not working anymore.
Correct.
So only it's always like only the motivated sellers and the motivated buyers are making deals. Motivated buyers are because they moved here or military or whatever. And motivated sellers are, I think everyone's saying, oh, they're going to stay on their 2.875% interest rates. But if you look at other stats of credit card debt, we're at the highest we've ever been since the history of mankind. So,
right.
And I know Sandra knows this, like when we sit down with people and say, hey, here's your net sheet, you're going to make all this money. The first thing they go like, well, we're going to pay off debt. It's always the first thing they do. Like they don't say like, we're going to go to Vegas. Like, no, they go, we're going to pay off debt.
No, they go to Vegas like a week before closing.
Yeah, exactly. And ruin it all. No, they go, we're going to pay off debt and then we're going to have a down payment. And then, as debt rises, pressure mounds, sellers start to get, and if you look at the real, NER had a stat that said that 76% of people that bought between 2018 and 2020
regret it,
have buyer's remorse. So it's just, it's this pent up demand. And it's going to just, and I think all these macroeconomic things are making people feel uneasy, like tariffs, are we going to pay them back? The Fed rate. Yeah. I mean, there's all these like macroeconomic things that are making people, they're not pulling. I was hoping they would pull out of, as a commercial real estate agent, I was hoping they're going to pull out of the actual, market with their money market, but now it's soaring again,
right,
artificially. So there's all these macroeconomic things that are
influencing.
And I hate to say it, but the average consumer just doesn't understand all that stuff.
Correct.
Because they're not watching it like we are. And so they're like scared. And then their parents scare them even more and say like, oh, you can't, that's not worth $400,000.
Right.
My mom, if she saw like houses, she's like, that's not worth it. I'm like, Mom, it's
the market.
That's
where we are today.
Yeah. Look at your house and look at how much it increase in value. So I think that's what that says is only the motivated are doing stuff. And so finding that is the game.
That's a good message. Only the motivated are doing stuff. And I would go as far as to say the motivated and well-educated with a plan at hand, or it kind of goes back to motivated.
Sure.
Being very motivated.
Yep.
So with that, and we talked about why the market is the way that it is. How do you feel, and this is for both of you, feel that, and I'll answer for the lending side. I want you guys to give us some insight on the real estate side, the idea of part-time agents. I feel as though it has been rising since, for the last, let's call it 3 years now. It has just been rising. I'm seeing in social media groups, on my side, I'm in a bunch of lender groups where it's like, hey, I'm a part-time loan officer. What are you guys doing to stay relevant? Or can I be a part-time loan officer and still succeed? And you've got tons of people motivated or encouraging that type of behavior. Yeah, you can do it. I'm able to do it. I do this and I do that, and I'm still able to do it. And I think it's all relative as far as number one, how many people do you want to help? Do you want to be the person that kind of helps them or just gets a paycheck? Because for me, on the lending side, if you're part-time, you are doing and I'm going to say this, you're doing your client an injustice. Why? Because it's all about experience, scenarios that have come about. What I've found, being that I own Loanbot, Review My Mortgage, we see a lot of different lenders around the country that are needing leads, that are talking to customers. And the idea of if you're learning as a new to the business loan officer, 3 years in, 4 years in, but have been part-time, not fully committed, and you've only learned 1 or 2 programs, what good are you to the customer that comes to you and doesn't fit that mold type concept? But what are you guys' thoughts? Because it's a little different on the real estate. I'm not going to say you can learn real estate a lot faster, but you definitely have a broker that you can lean on. You've got plenty of tools out there, but is it something that we should promote or not?
Well, I know me coming into real estate when I first got my license, obviously I had a corporate job working for the Toyota plant. So that was my career, had my degree. So when I got in real estate, I was able to pour myself into it for evenings and weekends because my husband worked evenings. And, but I threw myself in it and I was learning as much as I could because I knew the time was going to come where I'd have to make a decision to quit my career. Because I looked at it as I have a career, real estate, it's real estate, right?
It's a hobby.
I didn't see it as a career at the point yet. So then when it got to the point, I quit my full-time job and made real estate full-time because I knew that I can't half-ass,
Yeah, we're team
one
whole
thing.
ass right here.
Exactly. So then once I did that, I went all in. So I know that there is that transition period, but for people to continue to be just part-time, right now I can barely keep up with what I have. And so education, continuing classes, Zooms, trainings and all that, I think it's really difficult when you have a full-time job and doing this on the side to be able to balance all that and keep educated and keep up with what's going on in the market. And I have, a part-time agent on my team. Perfect example during COVID when everything was moving.
So you're probably kicking tail.
So he was still helping, friends and family, because he had his corporate job. But it was a perfect example because he was submitting an offer and he was getting outbeat. And he's like, what's going on? And, this is crazy and all that. And I'm like, call him out, Rick. I said, Rick, this is what we're dealing with right now.
That's right.
Like, you've been kind of out of the picture because you're doing it part-time. This is what we're experiencing.
Yeah.
So I feel that not being in the flow constantly, you're missing out on what is affecting our market. And so how can you service your client in the best manner that way?
Yeah. Therefore,
Go all in.
in a nutshell,
Go
you
all
are
in.
doing your customer an injustice.
Like she said, there's a transitional period. I came from real estate professionals, so I do understand. I understand what it took, and this is what I would tell anyone that wants to be in real estate: save up 9 months of all of your burn rate, all of your expenses, your car payment, child support, credit card payments, money for dues, money for marketing, because it takes 9 months to really know, right? And then burn the boats,
Absolutely.
because if you don't burn the boats, then you're never going to be a competitor. No one's ever killed it part-time. And I've been here for 21 years watching. They can get out the gate good.
Sure.
Because they have a really good database or they have a really good
Sphere.
mentor
Yep.
or sphere. But then there's a really low ceiling, and there is too much, right? There's too much to be a professional. And I would ask people this. They think it's a job, not a business. So if we were going to open up a taco truck, you're not going to do it part-time. You're the end-all, be-all, right?
That's right.
And that's for a taco truck business, right?
Correct.
So, and then even more so, like, my stepdad's a retired judge, and, people go, like, if someone's going to sue you, are you going to pick a part-time lawyer?
That's a good point.
And you're not going to
Part-time
get,
doctor?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Part-time dentist. I'll
Yep.
be like, no, I'm good,
No.
bro. So if this is the biggest,
But they're giving me 1% back.
exactly. They're like, yeah, but the Novocaine's cheap, right? So like, but like if this is the biggest thing that most families invest in. There's the biggest, highest ticket item that they're going to invest in. Picking someone part-time is crazy. Because like she says, like there's no way you're going to learn. Like the moment you figure it out, they change it.
Yeah.
And the whole NAR thing, and I don't want to go back to that because, well, good luck Zillow, is that, the biggest complaint that I heard was like, this brand new agent that just got her license 6 months ago and me make the same amount of money, that doesn't happen in any other profession. Like the better you are as a dentist, the better you are as a plastic surgeon, the better you are as a lawyer, the more money you make. Me knowing all of the players like Sandra, you pick lawyers based on if they know the judge or not. So if I know all the top listing agents in San Antonio because I take time to network and be with them, then shouldn't I get paid more than the brand new person? And that's why I was kind of like, well, no wonder, right? Because if I'm worth the same as someone that's been in the game for 5 months, then there was a problem. So we've adjusted for it and now we're good. But yeah, part-time, if you're out there, you're thinking about real estate, it's not a job. It's not a part-time job. Burn the boats, get 9 months of all of your bills paid, and just talk to Sandra and see if she'll have you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a great point. So we've talked about the market. We've talked about what's going on in today's market. We've also talked about how it's being affected by different forces, different characteristics and traits, people in real estate. But I want to dive further into the people in real estate and the personal development, the growth, the lack thereof, the mindset of those and what they could or should be seeking, because at the same time, there are plenty of agents out there that do want to grow, that do want to get to the point that they can say, you know what, I'm not a part-timer anymore. I have pulled the plug. I've gone all in, but not yet. And when I say not yet, it's more of a when they feel ready financially, I would have to say, in addition to the confidence level of I can produce for my family, myself, etc., on just this type of income. That being said, what type of personal development, what type of basics? Because for me, a lot of it is, guys, get back to basics, learn your basics. Where is your foundation? Well, you start a house with the foundation concept that I'm preaching to loan officers. On your side, what are some things that you would recommend or that you're actually seeing done in the market that people are inclined to learning, doing, going through? Matter of fact, the other day we were talking about we throw classes. I throw educational classes. You do it all the time. And for some odd reason, the butts aren't full all the time as they used to be before this market the way that it is. And is it because they are at their other job? Is it because they don't have the idea? You know what I'm saying? They don't have the fire to want to learn more, to help their customers more, to be the best that they can. What are some things? Let's talk about that stuff.
I mean, why they don't show up? I don't know. There's various reasons for that. But I do feel that the more training you get, the more you put yourself in those classrooms. I attend a lot of JJ's, classes that he has. I see he's there. I take that opportunity for free training for JJ. But I think also too, depending on your season, coaching, hire somebody that's going to hold you accountable. Because what I'm seeing a lot is that accountability, like even for myself, right now doing an accountability 30-day run, and 10 o'clock, I'm ready to go up, take a shower, go to bed.
Done. Yeah.
But I said I committed to my mile run every day, and I have not stopped, so
you go, girl.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
But I think that's where, JJ it's very important to have somebody within, depending on your seasons of where you are in your business, to have that accountability partner if you don't have the money for a coaching. But
good point.
Even there's different coaches where you can start with one, add another, or even have two at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just one could be mindset, one could be,
life coach, business coach,
correct,
a health coach. Absolutely.
So I think understanding that we all need someone. We all need that encouraging. Even with me with the team, I loved having the team because we would motivate each other. Jacob Delgado was on my team. Now he's running, First Choice West. But he joined my team because he wanted to start a team. And so he wanted to learn from me and eventually go on his own. So we already knew that we were going to have an exit plan. And so we still today collaborate. But it's like having that person that it's going to help you get where you want to go. Right. And I think it's very important.
I would advise you add sauna and cold plunge to that. That'll change your game. Just saying.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just kidding. No, I think coaching, mentoring, and training all get mixed in, and they're totally different. What Sandra's an incredible mentor. Besides Jacob, she's created other monster agents.
Absolutely.
And what mentorship is, I want to be like Sandra. So whatever Sandra tells me to do, I'm going to do. Whatever she does, I'm going to do. That's mentoring. Training is I'm going to teach you something you didn't know, right? Or I'm going to reinforce, or I'm going to expand your mind of something you kind of know, but I'm going to make you know it better. And then coaching is really like holistic in a lot of ways. It's like, hey, if you want to get from good to great, it's really what it is. Like there's a lot of good agents out there, but you want to get great at anything. Like, if you're going to run if I was going to do a triathlon, there's no way I'm going to just like look on YouTube and see what I should do and then go out there. Right. But people get triathlete coaches, people get, personal trainers, people get and that's where you see these huge transformations.
Yeah. Gains. Yes.
So if you want a true transformation in your business, you have to, like I have done, except for 7 months of my career, you have to pay someone to hold you accountable or expand your limited beliefs. Because the more you pay, the more you pay attention. It's just how it is.
Skin in the game.
It is. I remember when I had a personal trainer, I was like, man, the alarm would go off and I'm like, dude, I don't want to go. It's cold, it's dark. But I know he's getting paid no matter what. And it would just prop me up and run over there. Now, what ends up happening with all of this is I'm going to pull the curtain of Oz. Okay. So we are focused on results. So I hate the award season in the beginning of the year because it's like, Sandra's number one, whatever. This is results. But we didn't see the next level, which is Sandra's actions to get those results.
Behind the curtain.
Yes, she does these cute videos and she's awesome, but I know she works, right? So those are the actions that people don't really look at. But there's a level above that, which is potential. Maybe you don't know what Sandra knows in order to do what Sandra does. So you have to go learn what Sandra knows how to do. That's unlocking your potential. That's where training and mentoring really come in. The level above that, though, because we could actually know what we're supposed to do, still not do it, still not get the results. So the next level is beliefs. Do you believe you can do it? There's a lot of imposter syndrome out here in the game. And when I talk to people, I hate to call her out, but one of my agents, Melissa, she's a rock star. And then she's like, oh my God, all I did was 32 transactions your first year. I was like, girl,
check the scoreboard, ma'am.
I worked with her. She's awesome.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
I actually invited her on here.
Did
We're
you?
Be doing one after she gets her braces off. I'm like, get your ass in here.
Another imposter syndrome BS. So I'm like, girl, you belong. You have a seat at the table. Sit down. So there's this belief, like, do I believe that I can do it? Do I believe that it can be done? Like the 4-minute mile and Roger Bannister, like no one did a 4-minute mile till the 4-minute mile was
done.
Yeah. So there's people that I don't think I can because I'm a Southside person or because, I didn't grow up in this or whatever. There's that belief because if you don't believe you're not going to do it, then, and there's a level above that. There's values. Like, what do you value? And I think that's what a lot of people are kind of, they don't know what's important to them. Like, for instance, if I was going to get to my BMI, my body mass index, I would have to, like, what I value, what I would care about, right?
Yeah.
Is not eating carbs after 3. It is not, all these things that I have to care about to get there. Like you with your running, you have to care about stuff. So you have to tap into what you value in life. And then of course the level above that is you have to have an identity. Like I believe my girl's becoming a runner, right? That's an identity. There was a time where you weren't a runner and now you're a runner. So do you see that? So like your identity has shifted and that takes like a commitment, but those are the levels. It's results, actions, learning, unlocking your potential, believing that you can do it, valuing what you need to value, and then your identity happens. If you try to skip any of those steps, it ain't gonna work.
God, that's a good point. That raises so many good points and questions that can come about in regards to these agents that are, like you say, imposter syndrome. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And sometimes, even if you believe you can't, but you've got the skills, the work ethic, and the people behind you, you get there, and it hopefully something that you realize, oh shit, I did. And that changes your mindset to being able to get out of that imposter syndrome and get into your real skin and start growing, start fine tuning, start educating yourself with the right people, aligning yourself with the right content that takes your business to another level. But I mean, that being the case, where should we go from here? We've probably maybe another 15 minutes on some stuff. What do you guys want to talk about?
Compass.
We talk about Compass a little bit. That's
You need some data?
no.
Okay.
Sounds like he has something on it.
No, I'm just a nerd of the game, and so but like
Nothing wrong with
it's
that.
very interesting that all the legacy brands are banding together, and then so it's going to be the legacy brands that Compass buys, and it's going to be KW. There's going to be the us, the
Outliers.
well, not anymore. I think we were the outliers, and now we're the concept, right? Where it's the cloud-based brokerages and that give people skin in the game, and it's going to be a very interesting dynamic because besides, like, when you do a merger, I just don't understand the merger and
Are
acquisition.
you guys both real?
No,
No.
I didn't.
I'm-
Okay, I was
I'm-
like EXP.
EXP.
Coke,
and
Pepsi.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Just making
But we
sure.
get along.
Yeah.
Oh, 1000%. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
we love each other, and I'm so happy for everything that Sandra does. But yeah, it's a really weird merger and acquisition. I've been, when you think about why would you merge and acquire?
They're in the mortgage business. Black Knight has been doing it quite a bit.
Okay.
And there are mortgage companies. Guild buys Academy. Academy was already a big company. Why'd they buy them? Well, I mean, they're adding something to their book, which may be servicing, which may be another branch of their business
Yeah.
that they didn't already have. And in many cases, it's time to, let's say you've got a great job of doing margins at 10%. They've got a good 10%. Well, how do we get to 20? Let's acquire them. And now we've got 20% margin.
So yeah, it's
I mean, it could be that simple.
usually buying power.
Yep.
Right, because the more you can buy the bulk, the better. But this is real estate, so that doesn't work. It should be centralizing, like one HR department.
Yep.
Instead of 20.
Absolutely.
Branding, marketing can all be
Sure.
that. Which could kind of make sense. But think about like how extreme these legacy brands are. We have C21, we have Better Homes and Garden.
Mhm.
Like they couldn't get more different.
Right.
All being bought by Compass, and Compass comes from the we can't beat them, buy them, which is we've never seen that before in
Sure.
our game. So the only thing that I can think about, because I've been thinking about this a lot since it happened, was for monopolizing data. So Compass, they're the ones that say, hey, we're just going to have our own internal MLS. So, but now that they have 73% of all the real estate that's being sold or something like that, they can just say, you know what? If you want to know about the properties, come to compass.com. And we're going to be like, wait,
That makes sense.
So that's my prediction. You can,
And if they have
stamp it.
enough of the market share, they
They can.
become the market share.
Well, yeah,
They
and then
become the
it's-
mover
yeah.
of the needle.
Yeah. So like
Wow.
think that's the only thing I can think of is they're going to be like, oh, we have all the listings. So
Mhm.
if so now it's funny. Residential is going to look like commercial, where I'm not with CBRE,
Mhm.
I'm not with JLL, I'm not with the big boys, I'm not with Riata, right?
Right.
It's like me and Uri like going out there, and we're like these like little Davids against Goliaths, and we have clients that are like, hey, I want to know what that development cost is on 211 and whatever, and I'm like, well, I've called the guy 15 times, I've emailed him, I've texted them, they've ignored me, and then they hold out until your buyer goes to them directly because they want to keep it all in house.
Could it also be something along the lines of an example? Well, could it be something along the lines of, do all of these different one-offs have, let's say, book of business under management. And similar to, let's say I've now retired and I've got all this money, but I want my money to last. So I'm going to buy something that someone has created versus creating something that no one has
think
created.
about that. If I told you 10 years ago that Berkshire Hathaway, C21, like I named all these legacy brands where we're going to be bought by anything, you'd be like, no.
No, they're powerhouses on their own. You're
No,
exactly
these are
right.
legacy brands.
True.
We're not talking about like Chingadera Realty. Like
Right.
we're talking about like huge brands, right?
Absolutely.
And so now it's gonna disrupt the market
Curious
for
to
sure.
know. You guys keep talking. I'm
Yeah.
going to search up here real quick in regards to does
Because when you started, who were the biggest brands out there? It was C21, Remax,
Remax,
Coldwell
Keller
Baker,
Keller Williams too.
KW. Well, I started with KW in 04. I think we were 7th in the city.
Because I interviewed Keller Williams, Remax.
who's another one?
Center
Better Home
21.
and Garden. Are they in there?
Mm-hmm.
Better Home and Garden have property
Like
under-
management?
Yes, under management. Can you segment it? Boom. I would like to see, because if that is yes, all 4 of those, okay. Because similar to what I'm saying, it's just an idea of, okay, they're making X amount in brokerage fees. We're losing X amount in brokerage fees because of models like you guys have.
Mhm.
How do we supplement that? Well, we buy all the books. You're not giving me any data. Most majority makes it.
That's an optimistic way of looking at it. Like, hey, we're just going to get a bunch of we're going to consolidate management.
Right?
And that might be part of the structure, because I know they put money behind it. Whatever you want to say about the guy that runs Compass, he can raise funds. But I think this is gonna disrupt us a little bit, because no one's had this much market share. Even when KW, I went with them from, I think it was 69,000 agents up to 188,000 agents, where we were the biggest, or they are still the biggest, independent brokerage. We still didn't have like all the listings. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like we're talking about a massive, like pull together.
Yeah.
And we've never seen this.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And no one's really talking about it. But the moment I heard that and I realized, well, first of all, I was like, are there any antitrust things? Like, because,
Right.
you are monopolizing now
Yes.
the real
Yes.
estate market. And it's by a NASDAQ traded company.
Mhm.
It's not like some billionaire, like, because, what's his name owned Berkshire Hathaway. And he tried to, I don't know if you remember, he tried to disrupt stuff in the mid 2000s.
Warren Buffett.
Warren
Mm-hmm.
Warren was like, he stopped paying real estate agents. Do you remember this? In fact, Keller Williams was like, oh, we're only giving 1% to Keller Williams and not anyone else. Yeah. So he started to try to disrupt on his own, say, hey, I'm going to buy a brokerage and see if I can, change the game a little bit. Thought we were getting overpaid back then even. So, but no one's seen this before. And I don't think anyone's really thinking about it yet, but there's only one thing that I feel that is going to happen is monopolization of the data, which is all the listings.
Good point.
And now that people are running away from NAR in a lot of ways, and people are like, they could create their own MLS and then leaves the rest of us out to either band together and have our own MLS, or
That's what I was going to say is what does that end up doing for folks like you guys? Well, you tend to do the same thing. And
Right.
now you've got these 2 competing mammoths,
Mhm.
and you all did this so that you could be different and you could be different, but now we're all the same.
Right. And it's going to be like, hey, can we show their properties? Can we see their properties? Are our buyers able to see their properties? Are we going to have to list on their stuff and then they're going to list on the regular?
Right.
So do you see how much power you can have?
In addition, does that not kind of tote the line of messing with free market?
It is toting the line.
Yeah.
It is creating like, like, hey, you're either with us or you're, and this is how this is how commercial is. Like
Yeah.
the commercial boys, they're like, no, you're not part of CBRE. So we're going to keep it. They always tell me, we're just going to keep it in-house.
Mm.
I was like, what does that mean? They're like, we're going to have
Find
buyer
our
and
own.
seller in-house.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need you. And so be careful. This is going to be a disruptor, I promise.
Wow.
It's going to be something that's
What do you
going to
think
happen.
the time frame on something like that?
Well, they just came
There's
to,
no way to know. So
well, they just came to a price. So I'm assuming we'll start feeling it Q1 of 2026. I mean, depending on,
How
that's
they
a
go
lot
about
of
it.
different things to manage.
Absolutely.
Might be a year, but we'll see whatever their intent is. But that's a huge. And what's weird is Compass is also like they didn't make it here in San Antonio, Real TSA, and so their model's not working because their model was like signing bonus. I'm going to give Sandra a signing bonus to bring all of her listings over to us and give her stock. That didn't work. So they're buying, right? Like they're like, hey, they were trying to act like finance boys. They're like, hey, we're just gonna buy your book of business. We're gonna buy your book of business. The problem with that was when you give someone like a signing bonus like that, especially an agent that usually hunts and kills, well, they stop hunting.
Well, I compare it to somebody that is, and we've had this discussion, someone that adds people to their team and they do it because they believe that we're growing. This is the only way I'm going to be able to do more business, but you don't add more people to a team that's not working. Like if it's not working right now, people isn't going to help it. You got to figure out, right. You got to figure out what works first. Then you add the people to what is working.
You know what? If we have a couple of minutes, I want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think 5 minutes. Let's roll.
So teams, agents, what they should expect. What do you think they should expect from a team?
I will tell you, and you guys tell me observation, and this doesn't answer your question, but I have seen more and more teams shrink and shrink and shrink back to the individual, myself included.
Sure. What do you think they should expect from a team?
And I'm where you're at right now and trying to figure out, do I want to grow back a team, you know, especially with this
Literally,
model.
I'm right there with you.
But when I had first started the team, it was more everyone just wanted support, and I was more the mentor. I was there to show them what I do, how to be a successful realtor, and helping them. So I feel like now the expectation is like joining a team, feed me leads, and and that's all I need to do.
That's all I need. That's right.
So that shifted for me. That now it's like adding a team, and I'm like, well, maybe I don't do a team again. Maybe so. I'm still trying to figure out which is going to be my cloud-based model, my network, help them grow, or adding the team and finding that fit to pour into them like I'm accustomed to doing.
Correct.
You know, they're coming in knowing we're all independent,
Yeah.
self-employed. Just because you join a team or cloud-based, your sponsor, we're here to help you, not hand you a lead.
That's right. And I think you and I are both in the same scenario in the sense that we've grown several teams, we've lost members, and did we really lose them or did we coach them too well that they could do it? But that was the intent the whole time. I mean, you and I, we're not going to not tell you something that is for your benefit if it makes you a better person and makes the team a better fit. But it is very difficult in regards to timing, in regards to how much value we've put out there. Then going back to our market, there's less business going around. I mean, there's no, well, I've got all this business. Okay, great. But as a whole, it is less business, period. I'm kind of liking being the head of the snake again and not having to worry about it. But at the same time, at what point, because the market's going to shift. They always do. Everything is going to come back around. How long it's going to take, we don't know. And you're only one person.
Correct. That's my struggle. Like, I like having a team, you know, even if I have one more. Like just today, I received a text from an agent that was on my team 10 years ago offering any services because she's slow. And it's like, okay.
Come on, but here is something I need you to sign.
Seriously. No, I think the MRA disrupted our industry. Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary Keller, great book. It's the Bible, right? It's like how to leverage yourself up to 7 levels or whatever. But here's the problem. I don't think any of us really wanted a 7th level business in the end. And if you mess up at any level, you get, I hate to say it, bitch slapped back down to production. Yeah. And so I think her and I are anomalies because I didn't build teams to walk away from them.
Right.
I built teams to pour into people and make them, you know, knowing that I'm gonna create a competitor. Sure. And that sounds weird until you get into our brokerages, and that makes more sense because they stay with us forever. You can let the pajarito fly. So I think that anyone that's seeking a team should really again try to figure out what they're getting from it. Are they getting a temporary fix to a long-term problem, or which is like, hey, someone's going to give me leads, take more than half of my money, and then I'm not going to have any sales under me. Like, They're all going to be in the sales of the lead agent. So I get no reputation. That is extremely important.
Absolutely.
So it becomes a jail cell.
Yeah.
Because you're now giving up more of your money for leads because you didn't go hunt them, but then you didn't learn how to hunt, so you don't know how to go hunt for yourself. And if you're in those situations, then it might be like a personality profile that you have, and you're like, hey, I'm good with that. Like I want to. There's people that just don't want to be
You're right.
the head of the snake, and that makes sense. But if they're not that person, if they're more like Sandra or I, then just think about it. I think people just like, they have a friend that's killing it on a team that's a well-oiled machine, like, the Neil O'Neill team or the Castillo group or Levi Rogers or Maloof. Like, they have well-oiled machines that are awesome, right? But they're also, just spitting agents in and out. And so you got to figure out if you want a team or not. Figure out what you want. Do you want leads? You want mentorship? You want training? You want coaching? Because that doesn't necessarily mean a team. They could just be in your organization. They can just be in my organization, and they can get almost all of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've talked about a lot in this. When I asked you guys what kind of topics we want to bring to the table,
We didn't have any.
We didn't have nada. But I think the folks out there would be extremely satisfied with the information, the perspective, and the insight that you guys have provided today. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell our listeners that maybe they can, like I used to say, take to the bank in cash?
Close us out.
Take the bank in cash. The market is definitely changing, and if you want to like get good or great in your game, you have to find a mentor. You have to find a coach, because this is a serious industry, and we can keep it serious, but we have to take it seriously. And so I think that's if you don't have a mentor, coach, then I would say seek it out. No matter who it is. She's an incredible mentor. She creates monsters. I've been doing this for a very long time. Just reach out, just see what you're lacking, because there's something out there that you're probably lacking, and the best way to do it is just go find it.
Love it. I love it. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. Always incredible conversations, high level, and for the good of everyone, to be honest. Those of you listening to this, I hope you're getting something out of it, because there was plenty to get. And I want to remind those out there that each one of my guests that join us, they are high-level experts. They are practicing in the trenches of what we do, and they're not being paid to be on here.
Wait, what?
But we're doing this for the betterment of all of what we do as real estate and mortgage. And at the same time, we're also getting better at what we do, public speaking in front of people. So we too have to continue to sharpen our tools and work on our craft. So I hope that you continue to listen and subscribe and jump in and all that good stuff. I promise and commit to continue bringing you guys experts that will be honest and always keep it real. That being said, we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
If you're still sending out pre-approval letters and praying your realtor send you the next lead, you're already behind.
Top producers are winning because they're giving their agents more than just rate sheets and donuts. They're giving them Loanbot. With Loanbot, you can offer realtors a white-labeled, co-branded digital mortgage tool that they send straight to their buyers. It's like giving them a mini loan officer in their pocket. Available 24/7, fully loaded, and branded with your name and their trust. Buyers can self-diagnose, compare loan programs, check real numbers, search properties, and explore down payment assistance without blowing you up at 10 p.m. And the best part? You see everything, every scenario, every lead, every milestone. You're looped in the whole way. Loanbot isn't a widget. It's the referral machine you've been waiting for. Here's the deal. Your realtors can get it from us directly for $9.99 a month. But it'd be in your best interest if they got it from you. Either way, they're going to get it. White labeled, co-branded, transparent, and more.
Sign up for your demo with our team of innovators.